Yes, people, welcome back to the Inside Scoop. I know it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, and it looks a little different right now. We're doing this over stream because we still want to put the content out. We've been a little bit busy, haven't been able to get to the studio, unfortunately, but here we are. And of course, it's after the Carabao Cup final. Carabao Cup semi-finals. Arsenal are out. Newcastle are through, Liverpool are through, Tottenham are out. So you know what that means? North London stay taking L's. I'm sorry, stay taking L's. But listen, of course, I'm joined by my co-host, HP like the sauce, Harry Pinero. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had a little feeling that things would be different this season. I thought it would be the underdogs would be taking a trophy home, but Tottenham just doing what Tottenham do really. Sorry for that. But Newcastle's still in the final, so hopefully we can see some different type of colours around the Carabao Cup. But I'm good. I'm good. Getting ready for Match for Hope. Yeah. We're all going to be there, which is a good thing. We're all going to be there, which is a positive.
We'll speak about that at the end.
Yeah, we'll speak about
that in the end. Let me introduce, of course, my co-host on FCM, my brother, our brother, I should say, Fuad Kadani, of course, on the losing side, man. You ain't looking as happy as we are at the moment. What's going on, man? How are you?
Brother, I didn't even want to do this. I'll be real with you. Like, you are so lucky we agreed to this long beforehand. Because, brother, honestly, I'm almost ashamed to say the amount of cigarettes I've smoked in the last 2 hours.
Damn, man. You got health to look after.
You know, before the one's even finished, you're lighting the next one. You're using that one to light the next one so you can keep it going. Brother, where do we even begin, brother?
Where's the Spurs jerseys, bro? Behind you. Where's the White Hart Lane? Where's the Edgar Davids? What's going on, man? Man just coming with a blank wall, bro. Blank wall.
Black furniture. Listen, it's funeral settings, brother. Listen, we have to talk serious today, man. This ain't really no laughing matter, bro. It's crazy because even at halftime, I kind of I'm trying to keep the optimism, even though we're getting battered. I tweet out, yo, guys, it ain't 4-0. Come on, still 1-1 on the scoreline. Come on, lads. What do you think everyone's doing on Twitter right now? They're spinning that tweet.
But you said 4-0 because of Arsenal.
No, but I said...
Is it because of the Arsenal thing?
No, not even because of Arsenal.
Bro,
I was a little tongue-in-cheek there. I was like, yo. But hey, it ain't 4-0, lads. It's 1-1 on the scoreline. Lo and behold, brother, look where we end up. And they
I'm looking at it. Oh, no, you're in trouble.
They always say, it's the hope that kills you, brother.
Yeah.
And with Tottenham, it's not even hope. It's the hopeless hope. Because you're not hoping based on almost like something tangible, some kind of evidence and proof and true belief. You're clinging on to like atoms you can't see. You're trying to conjure hope within your heart, and that's what kills you in the end, brother.
In case you don't know what we're talking about, unless if you're living under a rock, of course, Tottenham just lost 4-0 to Liverpool in a do or die game. 1-0 in the first. 1-0 in the first leg. Then it gets to the second leg, and of course, Liverpool get to work at Anfield, man. And look, we're going to speak about both games, and we'll speak about kind of like the final and what it means. But for me, just to start off with, I'm not going to lie, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm disappointed in Spurs. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, but because I feel like Ange, a lot of the criticism about Ange is basically, he doesn't know how to switch it up. He's always playing this ferocious high line. Spurs get caught. But I actually think today, Spurs were playing a mid to low block. They were kind of containing Liverpool. And it was the opposite, actually, where it was like, no, actually, guys, you need to kind of show more on the ball. You need to show more going forward. But once I saw that flat midfield three of Basuma, Bentancur and Sarr, you kind of knew you weren't going to get much progression. You weren't going to get much penetration from midfield. And of course, I think it was the second goal, or was it the first goal? Basuma loses the ball. I think it's the first goal. Basuma loses the ball. They go up and then they go and score. And it's just a complete opposite for what you think of Ange. Because I was saying, I feel like Ange is the type of manager who'll be like, hey, listen, I'll lose this game 6-4 if we're going to lose. You know what I mean?
The
6,
thing is,
4,
though,
5. But
I felt like after the first leg, I learned that okay, he's willing to adapt for certain big games, and I think he realized once you get to this stage, you can't be doing that rock and roll football. Also, remember before the first leg, we played Liverpool a week before, so that was almost like your trial period to try that rock and roll football. And how did it end up? 6-3 in your own back garden. So I think he learned from that, and it was like we actually grinded out that 1-0 result in the first leg. And I was thinking, okay, with that kind of method, let's see what we can get to in this kind of game. And before even the first goal goes in, bro, Liverpool were coming at us wave after wave, pretty much.
Yeah,
and you kind of
it was relentless.
Yeah, you kind of knew the type of game it was going to be set up for. We were going to do this kind of mid to low block and trying to make it difficult for them to break it down. But then the one thing we can't do is we can't make sloppy mistakes. We can't make individual errors. And Basuma losing the ball there, Archie Gray not marking Cody Gakpo at the back post. And I think I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Archie Gray there because him and Jed Spence, I think they played about 14 different positions today. Whether it be right back, right wing, left back, centre mid, bro, you saw them all over the place. So I don't know whether it's a lack of familiarity why he's not picking it up, but after that first goal goes in, it almost like kind of brings you back down to earth of, all right, maybe I was being too hopeful. You see it out till halftime and you're kind of thinking, all right, we've come in at halftime. It's 1-1. As I said, I tweeted out, hey, ain't 4-0 just yet. Let's calm down. Let's see what we can do. And there was some idiot in my mentions. And I quote tweeted him as well. And he said, 48th minute, bro, you know how it's going to happen. We're going to concede a penalty to Mo Salah. And I couldn't, the very same minute, 48th minute.
He got his spot on minute, everything.
Yeah, on, brother. Go look at
That's the gin. That's the gin.
Shaydan Nimmo, bro. That's Shaydan Nimmo.
What?
I'm telling you, brother, because, bro, it was crazy. I thought, I'm not sure whether I want to be killed early doors and just have my hopes deflated early in the second half, or whether, you want to give me a little bit of hope and kill my dreams at the end. But I thought, at least maybe give me something. And in that second half, brother, I think that was the most chaotic Tottenham performance I've ever seen. And that's saying something, considering under Ange Postecoglou, we've been a really chaotic team. But, bro, there was no cohesion. We couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't string 4 passes together. We couldn't give ourselves breathing space to get the ball out of our half. And I know Matthias Tell debut or whatever, very non-existent in my opinion. Yeah. It was kind of a debut to forget.
I think it's unfair for him and Danso because I feel like both of them are joining a Tottenham team that has been lackluster this whole season. And I think when you're playing against a team like Liverpool who are high flying and are just killers this season, it does highlight the frailties in that Spurs team. I think the lack of leadership or control that they have on the field, forget Ange for a second. I think on the field, there was not one player that I felt like looked like they was in control. Or, when you're playing football, it's like you look for one player to give you that, all right, this is what we're composure. Or just like you said, you've come into this game winning. You guys was 1 foot in the final already. And all it needed to be was for you guys to not even take the game to Liverpool, but just stop them doing what they do best. And I don't think that they did that at all. I think allowing the likes of Mo Salah, Szoboszlai, all of these players to just have freedom and roam. And it was like attack after attack after attack. And it took them, 34 minutes to get a goal. And after that, it was just like, you know what? You kind of knew where this was going to go. And the commentators were saying it goes, I don't know how long this can last for. And against a team like Liverpool, it's inevitable. They've done this throughout the whole season. And
sorry, that's the scary thing. It's like even when they scored a second and you're thinking, okay, can we see some reaction now? I would love to be able to look to my bench and say, can we make some changes? But we ain't even got that right now. Like we've got pretty much an 11-man injury list. So you've got academy
11 first-team players out
that can't even make the difference. And literally, it's so ironic that they're all coming back the week after this game. So it's like typical almost Tottenham aspect. And then you look on their side, who are they able to bring on? Jota and McAllister. And I'm like, this is the difference. Like the quality in managers, the quality in players. But then also, I can't lie to you, that Anfield atmosphere today, bro, that was one of those games where
scary.
You almost felt it through the screen, bro. Like at certain points, I felt suffocated watching it. And I was thinking, I would hate to player out there. So Tell and Danso making a debut within that as well, I don't envy them. And as you said, second half, you could almost kind of tell how the game was going to go after the first goal. The second goal goes in after Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and all these Dutch guys have been propping up all season long.
Yeah.
I've won, but at what cost?
Well, Fuad, The question's always gonna remain, bro. Like, when is the drought gonna end, bro? Real talk. Can you see it potentially still ending this year? Are you still in the FA Cup?
Yeah, and that's a scary thing. This is
still in the
almost,
FA Cup, still in the Europa League.
This is almost like hell week because you got the Carabao Cup semi-final, you got Aston Villa in the FA Cup, and then you link Man United after that as well. So it's like, hey, you got 3 games basically to really set the tone for the second half of the season. But I put it this way: I think the big frustration with a lot of Spurs fans and with Ange Postecoglou is we all wanted him to be the manager to deliver this. We all wanted him to be the guy because he's one of the few managers in the past couple of years that has felt like he wants to be here. Jose, Conte, they felt like they were almost doing us a favor. And like, these little guys, I'll go and win a little trophy for them. And you feel like he's almost bought in and he's tried to bring attacking football. He's tried to do the right things. But then there's games and kind of the way this season has gone, you kind of almost find it hard to kind of stand beside it. But I don't put it all on him. I think there's a lot of it has to do with recruitment. And that recruitment, I'm sorry, goes from the summer to January as well. You can get Danso and Tell in deadline day, but you could have stopped the bleeding way earlier in January, in my opinion. And if you really believe in a manager, you really back him. And I don't feel like this board once again has brought in a manager and backed him properly, in my opinion. So he's been kind of left short with that. I think his tactics as well have cost him in certain games and left us vulnerable in certain positions. But hey, if he goes out of the FA Cup, honestly, this upcoming weekend against Aston Villa, I don't know what more he's kind of clinging onto his job for now. Yeah, personally, I've said you should stick with him and really ride it out, in my opinion, rough it out, pause. But especially with the summer, I feel like you should go in and really rejuvenate this kind of squad because there's so much that still needs to be done. But if you sack him, you're starting all over again.
All over again, yeah. And do you know what?
That's the scariest part for me as a Tottenham fan. I don't have the
energy, man.
I don't have the energy to go again, bro.
Bro, we know how it feels. If Amorim gets sacked, I'm out of this sport, man. I'm out of this sport.
I promise you, I might become like one of these football neutrals that just becomes a historian and like that's going to be my bag because, bro, I've been supporting Spurs now 20 plus years, bro, and it's been like I've been sold dreams, repackaged and sold those dreams again under different managers, under different styles, under different eras, and every time it's the same thing. You fall at the final hurdle.
Keep talking.
That was nasty. You can see veins bulging on my forehead, and this is what you're gonna do.
That was sinister. That was sinister.
Brother, listen, I'm dying at you, man. This club is actually killing me. I'm smashing my head through glass ceilings, glass frames, bro. And I've jokingly said it so long. Spurs fans are almost like a social experiment to see how long can we make a fan base support a club without delivering any substantial success. Because at least if you're like a team in the bottom half of the Premier League table, you might go down. You have the glorious championship year when you're coming back. Hey, everyone has their knees up. But when you're stuck in that almost
no man's land
man's land of mediocrity where you're not going to hit the creme de la creme, but you're also not going to be down there and out. What like you're just
like, what's the point? Yeah. I think you know what make it better, yeah. And this is why Kam's question is actually very valid, even though it's a bit tongue in cheek. Yeah, is when is there going to be silverware at that club? And over the years, I think Spurs, the beautiful part of Spurs is that they've always had great players and played great football. Yeah, but there's more to that than football, and I think Spurs fans are probably the most frustrated out of the bunch just because there's been nothing to come from it apart from, like you said, repackaged and sold dreams, right? But I think the worst thing, I think what like connects Man United and Tottenham fans over the last maybe 5 years is that the ownership, the managers, and the lack of quality as players. When you have those 3 things working against you, there is nothing to hope for. And I think that's just the stupidity of football fans when you can look at something like this and see a few wins and see some fluid football and think, yeah, this is the guy. But reality is, if you look at the players that's on the pitch, Dead Spence is a young player. So is Archie Gray. But then you got Ben Davis, who has been in that club for a very long time. He's not that good. And then you've got Son, who for me is having his worst season in a Spurs shirt. Richarlison, not a striker. So what do you expect with this? Solanke's not there. Madison's not there. Bentancur is injured every now and then, comes back, and he just doesn't look like. So for me, it's a whole heap of problems, and I think it's very, very unfair to blame it on Ange. As much as he is very naive with his style of play, that is the way he wants to play.
Yeah.
And if your owner isn't giving him the support he needs, then of course it's going to be mediocrity. So it's hard to blame him. If I'm honest.
I agree with everything you said there, and I think to answer kind of Cam's question, I don't think truthfully we're going to see any silverware till we have a change of ownership, and that's the proof is in the pudding. We've been here 24 years now, and you've had one League Cup to show for it, and you're content with that. And from one thing we've seen is Spurs are never ever willing to cross that threshold line of spending that little bit extra to go and at least take the risk of trying to win. Because that's what all of these clubs do. Chelsea, United. The reason why they spend big, and every year it's a risk to spend big, because you're risking to try and push. We're not willing to do that. And as long as we have that kind of apprehension and that kind of scaredness about spending money, we're going to be stuck in this no man's land. Aston Villa have shown you're willing to pull your finger out and actually try and push the club the next level. You can do it. And you're now seeing them basically take over that spot where, you know, the cute team in the top 6, that's them now. They got their nice players. They're in the Champions League. They got that good manager. That should have been us. But instead, you want to keep cutting corners and keep trying to, hey, son, carry us for as long as you can. Hey, Harry Kane, carry on as long as you can. And those two papered over the cracks for years. But now you're seeing some fall by the wayside. Harry Kane is no longer here. Now you really have to look at that entirety of the squad and say, what have you really built here? And this board, unfortunately, they have not built this squad correctly. No matter what way you try and cut it and slice it, you can say they've bought a lot of youngsters for the future, but you need ready-made players now.
Yeah, it's not that time anymore.
Yeah, and even if you look at kind of other clubs, whether it be Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, people will say their recruitment has been rash over the past 2 years. But guess what? They're recruiting multiple players. So they're recruiting youngsters, but they're recruiting ready-made players as well. They might bring in a Lavia, but they're going to bring in an Enzo and a Caicedo as well. That's what you have to do. And as long as Spurs play scared money don't win nothing.
I saw actually a stat when you're talking about Forest. I think Forest has signed like 140 players in the last like couple years. So like everywhere, where it's like a romantic story. Oh my God, what Forest are doing, but they signed like 140 players or something like that.
But they've been ruthless with getting rid of the players.
Yeah, it shows that they just keep going. They just thought, you know what, we're gonna keep going until whatever. And I know there was talks about FFP with them and stuff, but they still kept going, and now look, they're flying. So it does show with the ambition, but obviously, I think we're all in kind of agreement which is we might all three of us might be on the other side where we're actually saying like, I think you should just probably keep Ange. You know what I mean? You're saying keep Ange, but a lot of people be screaming. I'm sure when we go online now, if I check Spurs Twitter, everyone is screaming Ange out probably. But so let's move on actually from Spurs real quick, and let's talk about Liverpool. Can Liverpool, now they're in the final, and I feel like this happens every year. A team gets to the final, they're in every competition, and you start saying, what could be the possibility this season?
Yes.
Can this Liverpool team win the quadruple?
Do you know the scene is set though, isn't it?
You're saying yes, Fred.
It's back in the day in wrestling where you can see like it's Royal Rumble, it's The Rock, it's Hulk Hogan. It's the scene is set for some greatness. This is what it is. I think Liverpool have been probably the most frightening team in European football this season, just because of their consistency. And I feel like because this could potentially be Salah's last season. Virgil van Dijk, there's not a significant yes or no whether or not he's going to stay. I think they're going to finish on a high. I think in terms of the Premier League, it looks like it's done. I think Newcastle are a good team, but it looks as if Liverpool will do that. My only thing is, which is a bit difficult, just because of the way the format is the Champions League. I think the Champions League this season has shown that when any team is playing any team, anyone can win. We've seen some big upsets, but Liverpool look absolutely phenomenal. I think even when they played that their quote unquote second string team, they still look good. Like the ethos that Arne Slot has put in place in that team, the rotation doesn't change anything. And I think that's the scary part of Liverpool. And I think the quadruple is very difficult to say because I don't think a team has done that in the top flight in English football where they've won everything. And I don't think this Liverpool team is as great as the previous teams, the Man Cities that's dominated,
Even
the
the old
United, the old Liverpool or Arsenal, but they have got something different where even when they look like they're going to lose, they win. And I think that's what will give me the thought that they could potentially do it. But I mean, they can get a cheeky treble, a quadruple would be phenomenal for me. But I don't see it happening. But hey, anything.
3 out of 10 is happening. Is it? Wait, hold on. I didn't say. Okay, I said, can it happen? Is it happening?
I think it can happen, and there's a high possibility it could happen. And the reason why I say that is because with all those other greater teams you're saying, there was better competition in the field. I look at the European field, they bounced Madrid in the group stage already. They bounced Leverkusen, who are one of the highest rated teams or whatever. They bounced AC Milan. So for me, it's like, who are the other big dogs in Europe that I'm looking at? Okay, Barcelona. Attacking wise, very great. But the one thing I like about Liverpool, and I think Slot this season, I've given them a lot of credit for, bro, they're adaptable. They can be difficult to break down, or they can come and play swashbuckling football. They can play the direct wing play, or they can play, you know what, we're going to play zippy short passing. And I think that is the one reason why I'm looking at it like, I can't see anyone in Europe really beating them over 2 legs. That's the issue. 1 leg, I think you can get them. But over 2, this has just shown me now. Like,
what they're on.
You buck them back at Anfield, scary sight. And I think in terms of the FA Cup, the only way it doesn't happen for Liverpool, in my opinion, is if there's a Salah injury. If there's a Virgil van Dijk type injury. One of those key players go out for a large chunk and it kind of derails the rhythm of the squad, that's where it can have an impact. But other than that, Premier League, as you said, is pretty much sewn up. FA Cup, you've already got United, Arsenal out. City are the only decent team left.
Yeah.
Wait. Hey.
No.
We play tomorrow, young nigga.
Sorry. Apologies. Arsenal's like, you're still in.
Slow your roll, bro. Slow your roll.
Hold us. Let me know.
But let's have it right, though. It could go left tomorrow.
Bro, it could
go left. It could go left, bro.
So I'm looking at it in terms of the field of competition that they're playing against.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone that's really able to stop them. So it's not a case of them being that far better than every other team, but it's just a case of no one there being good enough as them.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's a good point because, I mean, look, people are just seeing again, and the thing is, a lot of people are talking about it last 3 weeks ago when Liverpool had that run of Forest, Brentford, and Bournemouth away. Everyone said, "Oh, this is where the slip is going to happen." They walked away with it 7 points out of 9, and now I've just seen somebody posted that win means Liverpool's next 5 Premier League games in 15 days is Everton away, Wolves at home, Villa away, City away, Newcastle away, and he said huge. And for me, I think Liverpool are obviously going to get numerous results out of that run. But it's not only that, it's what you said as well, Phil. It's like, yeah, we can keep seeing all these runs, but if everyone around them ain't going to go 100%, then it doesn't matter, bro. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's not like if Arsenal going to win every single game, okay, cool. But do we expect Arsenal to win every single game? No, they just went out with a whimper against.
Every time Liverpool have dropped points this season as well, Arsenal have also dropped points. So no one's really even capitalizing.
This is exactly the point. So the part I do disagree with is that, like, I do think in the Champions League, and I get it, it was the group stage, but I do think knockout rounds, I don't see Real Madrid losing that easily, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like how they did against. No, I don't see Real Madrid. Now, Anfield will rise up too. I'm not talking about no small football club. But I do think like the way that fixture went out, and that was like peak stinky Mbappe as well. It was like Jude hadn't scored in like 10 games. It was like, what was going on? Now they're kind of getting the rhythm. They are still not the Real Madrid peaking of Real Madrid, but I do think they have this love for the Champions League. It's like they're just all going to lock in and say, oh yeah, by the way, boys, it's the knockout rounds now. Let's go. So I think they're going to step up for it. I think they're going to dismantle Man City. And I think they're going to try and have that. So listen, they might not even end up playing each other. Who knows? Real Madrid can play Inter and lose or something. But I do think in the Champions League, when it is the knockout rounds, the stakes are a little bit higher. We are going to see more of slots, in-game management in them Champions League games. And what the players' resolves are as well. I think right now, Liverpool, credit to them, and that's because of them, cruise control. Salah scoring every single week, whatever it is, a penalty, whether it's a beautiful left foot whip, he's scoring every week. Van Dijk, masterclass every week. And what we were saying earlier in the season on FCM is that when your world-class players have you going, all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, there's scraps I can eat off. Gakpo's like, hold on, I'm gonna have 20 plus goals this season. Szoboszlai's like, yeah, okay, now I can really get into this without any pressure. McAllister's always been McAllister. Gravenberch, he's come along this season. So I'm looking at it now. The world-class players are pushing them there, but now the cavalry are all involved. And once that starts going, bro, we've seen it at our club, Harry. We've seen it when Ronaldo's going, when Rooney's going, when Giggs is going. All of a sudden, Darren Fletcher's scoring us winners. All of a sudden, Raphael can slot in and it's calm. All of a sudden, that's just Wes Brown can play right back and he's dropping masterclass. That's what happens when your world-class players have you going. The rest of the team come along with you, and I think that's what Liverpool got going on. It will be hard to see who stops them. I'm not going to lie, but quadruple is unheard of. So as it stands, I'm going to say it's not going to happen. But somebody has to. What records are there to be broken, right? So I think that's. Unless you guys have anyone that you want to highlight on Liverpool at all, I don't mind moving on to the Newcastle Arsenal situation. But yeah, all right, cool. Let's get into Newcastle Arsenal. We don't have to do a quick match review over it, but it's more about what it means. Like, do you guys? I've got a few questions for both of you.
Okay.
But let me start with: do you guys think that result will mean anything to Arsenal this season, or do you think it's just like, we knew we were losing, we knew we were out from the first leg?
For me, I think that's the kind of game. If you're an Arsenal fan, you sell all your Kai Havertz stocks. If you had any hope or faith of that guy being the leading man for your club, get rid right now.
I need that sound.
Because that performance for me, bro, not a single shot on target in 90 minutes. Can't hold the ball up, can't make it stick, can't complete passes. I just struggle when this, sometimes we judge players on goals and assists, and sometimes we judge them on overall play. When this guy doesn't have a goal in his game, I struggle to see what he brings to the table. And for someone who is the highest paid player at that club, there isn't enough spoken about when he goes crazy. I'm sure people will talk about Saliba's stinker yesterday. I'm sure people will talk about Gabriel's stinker. I'm sure people will bring up Odegaard. But that brother there, he cannot escape anymore. We have seen too much evidence now. And that for me was a moment where you saw Isaac on the other end showing you exactly what you need and what you want. And then you've got this donkey lover of a donkey player showing you exactly what you don't need.
Flipping out. These
are, but they're harsh but true words. I think with Arsenal, they always get to a place where you think, okay, cool, they've kicked on, but then reality grabs them by the throat. And this was a game where, we spoke about it, a few days after the first leg, and we was like, I don't see Arsenal coming back from this, because not only is it like it's 2 goals, but these players have got to show, especially after winning against Man City 5-1, showing them that, we can go toe-to-toe with, a team that has obviously beaten us 2-0, but they just don't have it in them. And I think with Arsenal this season, I've said this from the beginning, I feel like they are very one-dimensional. And when a team knows how to nullify everything that they're good at, it takes what Cams was saying about the Liverpool players. It takes for the players that are supposed to be the world-class players, supposed to be your main players, to showcase what they're good at. Now, we can speak about Kai Havertz, but we spoke about Odegaard as well. His inability to affect games rather than just keeping the ball ticking. It looks great, but it's not effective enough. And I think in those games showcase where Arsenal are at and why they won't win a league, because they can't take it to that next level. And Newcastle, fair play to them, a great team, and they've been a great team throughout the years. Eddie Howe's done a great job, but there was a game there to be won. The game was frantic. It was end to end.
It's highlighted even more when Saka's out injured.
Yeah.
And you know what the issue I find is when the roles were reversed and it was Odegaard out injured, Saka put this team on his back.
Yeah.
Saka was winning points. He was dragging his team through individual performances. And then now it's a case of when he's out injured, Odegaard can't seem to carry that mantle. Havertz can't seem to carry that attack. And listen, Martinelli went off injured halftime, whatever, and Sterling is what he is. But I would at least, of that front attackers, I would have some expectation on Havertz to at least deliver me some type of performance. Instead, I've got Fabian Schär, who you're meant to be troubling. I've got him winning balls up the other end and launching counterattacks. What's going on, brother?
That's the thing. That's the thing about this Arsenal team, because like they're only missing, unless I'm wrong, they're only missing Saka.
And if you want to say Jesus, that's been injured.
Okay, they're missing Jesus and Saka. But when Jesus was there, he did go on a little run of form at one point. But most of the time, people are complaining about him. So they're missing them players, and I'm just like looking at their bench yesterday, and they brought on Jorginho, Mikel Moreno, Raheem Sterling, Calafiori, and Nwaneri. And the thing is, I know it sounds this just goes to show like their depth for me isn't great, but out of them things, I just said 3 signings. I just said 3 summer signings.
What
Raheem Sterling, Calafiori, and Moreno came off the bench. So that shows one. Now I don't know about maybe Calafiori is, but Miles Skelly's keeping him out of the team at the moment. They're not even in favor. The 3 signings that they signed are literally signed to just go straight onto the bench. You're trying to win a game, and Mikel Moreno is coming on. You're trying to win a game, and Raheem Sterling in this day and age, he ain't shown it once that he's going to change anything at the moment. So it's like
those are your signings, and then take into account you just had a dry January.
That's crazy from Arsenal.
Where on the 30th you had a incredible win against Manchester City that lifts the club and could give you a kickstart for the second half of the season. You're going into deadline day. You can see how depleted your attack is, and you still choose not to sign anything.
Yeah.
And then but that's why there's blood on Jet Black's hands, because I think every single Arsenal fan has been screaming for strengthening in their attacking positions. Now with Saka, we said this beginning of the season, if Saka gets injured, this team is going to struggle. And although they have picked up results, and it doesn't look as bad as what people are saying is, because they have, they haven't lost a lot of games since Saka's been out, but it's about controlling the games and being in control, especially when you're going up against teams like Newcastle that are very, very attacking. They're athletes. Like Newcastle are an athletic team, but Arsenal are great at keeping the ball but doing nothing with it, and they don't have that final piece of the puzzle, should I say, like Isak. Isak was just latching onto passes from Gordon, and I feel like it showcased, just how shit Arteta's decision making in the transfer window is. Because I am not a football coach, neither are any of us here, but we know that Arsenal need a striker. They need a gunman that adds an extra 20 goals to the end of the season. And until they get that, Arteta's going to be in the same rotation. We're going to be having the same conversation at the end of the season. When is Arteta going to win a trophy? Because that is since 2020, you have not won nothing. And for me personally,
Eddie Howe's been to more finals.
What'd you say?
Eddie Howe's been to more finals than Arteta.
Come on, man. These are
crazy.
These are facts. These are serious facts, bro. And like the Arsenal faithful, I feel like they're unfortunately for them, they're clutching onto moments, hope. Their hope is actually warranted because, they're a decent team and they're probably one of the best teams in the league right now, without a shadow of doubt. But you want to see things. You want to see things that take it to another level. Now, this is the season where Man City are actually horrible and you beat them 5-1. But there's another big dog, and it's Liverpool. And now you can't catch Liverpool because you just don't get no consistency. So for me, I think Arsenal are where they should be. Kai Havertz is not a striker. For me, it was a useless buy. I don't know why they bought him from Chelsea. It didn't make no sense. People are gassed because he scores every now and then. But the proof is in the pudding. When you really need your players to show up, these are the games you judge them by, not when you're beating teams that you should be beating, in my opinion. So
I think a lot of it is on the Cronkies as well. Like I just can't imagine Arsenal.
No, bro. Let's have it right, bro.
I don't think Arteta would have said, "I don't want a sign in this January, bro."
I think that's why they tried to bid for Watkins, though, didn't they?
That's that. I don't know what they were doing with that, right? But there's no way. Like they definitely wanted a strike. They definitely wanted an attacker. There's no way.
You're telling me that Arsenal, this day and age, can't find a striker.
Yeah, I just don't think they want to open that. Yeah,
I think the right profile might not have been available. So someone like an Isaac, I don't think Isaac would have maybe even given him the conversation in January.
But bro, they were linked to iPhone Tony.
Yeah, but apparently they didn't like his character or something like that.
Oh, because he black and he a nigga.
Listen, ain't no choir school won anything except for Pep's Barca Boys, so maybe you need some characters and some pricks in there. You know what I mean? I always think in the dressing room you need some of that, man.
100%. So, okay, I got a question. It's not obviously Saliba. We know, as you mentioned, Saliba had a poor game. Isak, you know, he dominated the back line, and I think I already spoke to Harry. I think earlier in the season, very early in the season, Harry was very, very high on Isak. You know, I mean, I can't remember. He made a big shout about Isak. I don't know if we end up publishing it, but he did. It was on one of the episodes anyway. But like, where does Isak actually rank in the best strikers in the world now? Like, and we have to think about it. Are we being prem biased, or is this guy actually one of the best strikers in the world at the moment? Because for me, I'm looking at him, and what I judge you as, when I know that you're a good striker, a proper good striker, is when, okay, goals, you need to score goals as a striker, of course, and stuff like that. But it's how do you trouble the best centre halves in the game? I've seen this guy trouble Van Dijk consistently. I've seen him trouble Liverpool consistently. I've seen him have up Gabriel and Saliba consistently. Now, yes, we haven't had the chance to see him against Rudiger and Bastoni and these type of guys, but we think we have some of the best centre halves in the world in this league, and I've seen him comfortable against nearly everyone. It's funny, the only defenders that I've seen him really shackle him up with Bournemouth the other day with Huijsen and Zabani, but I'm looking at who he comes up against, and this is why, like, I have such a high ratings for Didier Drogba, whereas people will be like, oh, let me see your goal record. Bruv, Drogba used to trouble any single centre half he played against. Every centre half has had a nightmare against Drogba before, bro. Whether he's controlling the ball off in the air, whether he's drifting, whatever it is, he's giving you tough games. And I think Isak is one of them players where if you talk to centre halves and you say, like, yo, who's giving you the most trouble this season, whether he scored or not, I think loads of them will be saying, Alexander Isak.
He didn't even score in that game yesterday, bro. Like, obviously,
he didn't even score. I'm thinking he scored. I forgot he didn't even score.
Yeah, because the goal was disallowed.
The goal was disallowed, yeah,
but that's how much he dominates games. And honestly, like, to answer your question, I think he's entering that top 5 conversation. I know, listen, Haaland, Mbappe, Lewandowski, Kane, Lautaro, maybe you'd put in there. I think
I'm taking him over Lautaro.
Yeah.
I would.
I'll be honest.
I certainly would. If you put them,
I respect Lautaro's consistency.
I think Lautaro this season has definitely improved, but he still has those dry spells and patches. I'm comfortable with putting Isak in the top 5 in the world at the moment, especially the way he's been playing. 21 league goals last year, 17 league goals this year, and I'm not sure what you said earlier in the season, Harry, but I've always maintained that with Isak. I've said if he can stay fit for one full season. Him and Elise, I've always said those 2 players, if they can stay fully fit for one season, you're going to see the real version of them. Last season, I felt like we got a taste. This season, we're getting a full load.
I think he's generally, you see, like, as a goal scorer, full taste is crazy, though. Yeah, wait, hold on. That was crazy. But you know what? I almost got away with it. No, Smile gave it away. I was agreeing with you so much, and then I said, yeah, okay. But you know what it is with Isak, and I think something along the lines what I said was that for me, he is probably the most complete striker that I've seen in a very long time, because it's not just about the goals, bro. It's where he starts from. Like, he's always trying to find a way to penetrate. Whoa. Yeah, that was crazy. But he's always trying to find a way to penetrate. And I think, like, this season, more importantly, I think he's refined his game so well. Like, the way he's bullying defenders, his movement, his link-up play, he's the type of finishes that he scores as well. They're very, very important. And for me, the best game I saw him play was against Ipswich. Of course, it's a low team, but it just looked like he was toying with that team. And then now you go against Arsenal, and he was the reasons why Arsenal felt breached. The first goal was disallowed, but then he hit the post, and then obviously Jacob Murphy scored the rebound. And it's like, we're seeing him showcase against top teams in the league. Now, Newcastle ain't the greatest team, but they are a very, very good team. And I feel like if Newcastle was in the Champions League like they were last season, he'll be showing the same levels. So I don't even think it's about who he's facing. The guy is a clinical goal scorer, he's a gunman, and he knows what he's doing. And I said this before, he reminds me so much of Henry, because it's not just about I think it's not just about the way how he finishes, it's his intelligence. He knows where to be and what to, the little minuscule touches that he takes. If you obviously we love pure football, and I think he's a pure football player.
That's the thing, right?
We don't need. It doesn't matter where he is right now and who he's facing. The guy knows how to score goals.
Yeah, and if that's the thing, the one thing that I look at Isak, and I was thinking, what is it about Isak that I like? You know, it's his deceptiveness. You know, I feel like everything about him is deceptive, bro. He's deceptively strong. Yeah. He's deceptively fast. He deceptively just ghosts into the box and scores. He gets beyond you. I'm like, everything is like, you know, you look at some strikers like Kane, you look at him and you're like, bro, you're just a ruthless finisher. Haaland, you're just in your face, so powerful and fast. And these type of guys, but Isak is just he looks skinny and he's just there and he'll get in and score a header. He don't look like
he should be doing what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, bro, everything about him is deceptive, but he's there. 17 goals in the league, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I love about him as well, bro? His celebration is too cool. When he's doing this, when he scores, he's just like, what's this, man?
What's wrong with that boy there?
Get the fuck out of here. But now, honestly, he's so good, bro. Like, even when you said Henry, I know what you mean with Henry, but the thing is, Henry just had such blistering pace, had such Henry's, I don't even want to say the word aura, but Henry's just presence on the pitch just attracted your eyes so much. Isak, sometimes I'm just looking around, it's like Isak's not there, and then I'm like, oh, there he is doing a madness. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just, bro, he's just very, very deceptive with his game, and I rate it. But listen, we've got a Newcastle-Liverpool final. I'm not gonna lie, this is the one final I didn't want. I'm just going to be honest. Liverpool going through, not because it's Liverpool only, but narrative-wise, I think it's the final with zero narrative. I think Tottenham versus Newcastle, who's going to end their drought? Newcastle haven't won a trophy for 50-something years. Tottenham, we all know what happens to Tottenham. They haven't won in a long time. It would have been like the desperation final. Then, of course, if Arsenal went through and Tottenham went through, it would have then been the North London derby. I just feel like Liverpool-Newcastle is the one final where it's like, what are we really drawing on? Do you get where I'm coming from? It's just like two good teams, two very good teams, two very exciting teams as well. I like how both teams play, but it is the one final that I'm a bit underwhelmed. I'm not gonna. I don't know how you lot feel.
I think as a neutral, I would love to see Newcastle lift that trophy. And
you're not a neutral, though, are you?
No, I am a neutral because I don't really care. It doesn't bother me who wins the Carabao Cup, really and truly. I think for Newcastle, I think the trajectory over the last few years has been inspiring to watch. Obviously, them being a team that was having issues off the field, and then on the field, they've done really well. Eddie Howe's done an incredible job at Newcastle, and with the players he signed, they deserve to be where they are right now. I think they're a top team. I think it will be a tough test because, they faced, United and they lost in the Carabao Cup final. So they're now back again to try. And it shows that they've been in the final, was it 2 seasons ago? 2 seasons ago, they were in the final. So although it's going to be a final that no one wants to see, quote unquote, I think it will be great to see Newcastle win. And we're speaking about Isak, we're speaking about Gordon, Jacob Murphy. They've had a good start to the season as well. So if they can showcase what they did against Arsenal and play like that, it will be a tough game. And it will show, I think Liverpool need a team to push them to the edge. Otherwise, we are going to be talking about a potential quadruple here. And I think nobody that is a rival fan of Liverpool want to see that. But it'll be tough. All of their players need to be on form in order for them to win the game. And Wembley lights get real bright. It isn't St. James's Park. It's a fair amount of fans that's in the stadium as well. Yeah. So it's down to the players on that day. But if you ask me right now, I say Liverpool win that game.
Boys, what is it? It's going to be like 30,000 Geordies and 30,000 Scousers. Hey, that is going to be one jar in our stadium, bro. Let me tell you that. Them accents are going to be running wild. But okay, cool. What's it? What are you saying? Fuad, who you got for that in winning that?
I think, listen, Slot delivering his first trophy. I think there's a bit of a narrative around that. I think obviously if Liverpool do go on to win it, we've lost to the eventual winners, and then
nah, come on, brother. You don't help yourself, man.
I always
Fuad,
feel
man.
like when these clubs like Newcastle, Aston Villa, when they're all nearly there, I don't really want them to cross the line, if I'm honest, because
you're a hater because that's your level club,
it
isn't
just
it?
becomes another stick to beat Tottenham Hotspur fans with. It's going to become another lesser story. So you know what? I would like it if we went 59 years. 58 ain't enough. Let's go 60. Why not make it a whole pound number? Yeah, start a little more. Yeah,
oh my god.
Give it to Liverpool and let's start the quadruple, man. Come on, let's do this.
This guy's been an honorary Liverpool fan anyway, bro. He's been an honorary Liverpool fan for a long time. So, obviously I want Newcastle to win it, but I don't know. I feel like maybe because they lost against us in the final a few years ago, maybe this might just be like second time
redemption.
Yeah, a bit of redemption. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna say I want Newcastle to win it. I don't think I'm still gonna go with Liverpool. They've got the big players, but if Newcastle win it, that'll be beautiful. And listen, H, we are on Inside Scoop, and the people, we have been away for a while.
Yeah,
right. I know before we wrap this up or anything like that, I do know the people are gonna say, "Don't go anywhere. Why are you not speaking on Man United? All of a sudden, Man United take some L's. You man ain't done a show." So, bro, all I do now, Fuad, is just text Harry, United are shit. He'll just be like, "Yeah, we're shit," and we don't even bother talking about it.
There's no point though. What is?
Bro, it's just long, bro.
If you want to see what you said 2 weeks ago, repeat
literally.
If you want to see consistent. Speaking of Manchester United, you head over to Saeed TV. He's there every day, every week. Go support the brother. Because for me, personally, United, it's one of those, I don't have the answer to this situation. I think we've been saying the same thing, the ownership, the players, the atmosphere, the ethos of the club. And it's like, we've just got a manager who is not, I'm actually grateful that he is not adapting to the players and he's playing his way and is showcasing that these players are not adaptable to different systems. Football is based on systems. From before we were watching football, if it was a regimented 4-4-2, it was 4-3, whatever it is, this is the way he wants to play. And these players can't deal with it. They can only do it certain ways. And I use this analogy.
Should he adapt?
No, he should not. Why? Why? If this is the way, and this is the manager that we've brought in because we want a manager that plays expansive football. This is what he's done at Sporting, and it's worked well. Why should he change for us? Why?
But if we continue losing this way, he can lose his job.
Okay, but then that will be the same situation that that we were speaking about Spurs earlier on. Like, this is the manager. This is the way he plays. I mean, Ange at Celtic was doing incredibly well playing this way. Obviously, it's a different league, different players, so on and so forth. But this is the way he views football. Why should he change it? I always say this anyway. Like with United players, I say this. Like, it's like having a wife, right? If on Monday and Tuesday she's amazing, but the rest of the week she's crap, does that make her a good wife? No, it doesn't. So that's why I look at United players and I'm like, bro, just because you lot win 2 games and you play well does not mean that these players are good. We need to get rid of these players. The heartstrings that we have, Luke Shaw, this player. Bro, we've started well anyway. We've got rid of Rashford. Garnacho, we told him, listen, you can go. And he started playing well. So he now knows he can go as well. And I think that should be everything that, we should be about. It's going to get rough before it gets better. And that's the reality. So if we want to build with, Ruben Amorim has taken over Eric Ten Hag's failures and he's dealing with it now. He's just signed a few players now in January. We'll see how it goes. But for this season, as long as we don't get relegated, I'm happy. That's my main thing.
I think there still has to be a sense of almost like a little bit of flexibility. Like, I'm all for managers having their ideologies and philosophies, and I think within every tactic there's got to be core principles. But I do think there has to be some type of flexibility, especially when you see it starting to not work or results aren't really going your way continuously, and maybe the system is at fault for that. But I always feel like if you're not willing to kind of adapt even in the slightest, I think you could be almost, live by the gun, die by the gun, as they say. So I don't think Amorim wants to corner himself as just this I can only play a back 3, back 5 type situation. I think you want to be able to show, look, I'm not going to force square pegs into round holes. All right, these men are not good enough, but I'm letting you man know this from now type thing. So I think there has to be a little bit of room for adjustment. And that's what I've been asking from Ange. Listen, it's all good having your attacking philosophy, but don't forget the defense as well. Let's just find the nice middle ground.
With United though, Fuad, yeah, I think defensively, yeah, we haven't really been that shaky. I just think we've been conceding stupid goals.
Individual errors.
Our all-round like defensive play has been decent. I think the midfield, that whole, and it's the type of players that Ruben is playing. Like I've said this before personally, Kobe is not a defensive midfield player. I think we saw the best version of him this season probably was in the Europa League, right? And I feel like he doesn't have the personnel to play the players that he wants to play. That's why Bruno's been dropping deep, because Bruno does have a bit more, understanding of the game, and especially in that position. So I just think this season, yeah, if he wants to save his quote unquote job, okay, adapt. But don't forget the principles of what made you the manager you are. Yeah. And I think that is where I'm supportive of Ruben Amorim. And I will always remember the first 3 games that we had, we saw it. Against Arsenal, even though we lost 2-0 and we conceded 2 set pieces, we looked different.
You had Lisandro talking about we changed the mindset.
Yeah, brother. You know, that's one thing about these players. They are influencers, bro. They love a post. They love a quote. Ugarte saying, it's a game, but when I die, I said, get out of here, brother, man. Come on,
bro, just play better. My only thing is, right, like, look, I'm still for Amorim. I want Amorim to succeed. And as I said, listen, if Amorim gets sacked, honestly, bro, I don't know how much I got left in this shit, bro. It's just,
where's my Luka jersey, man?
Bro,
get me back on. Go Lakers,
bro. You know what I mean, bro? Listen, if it's like a situation where we sack the manager, it's gonna be tough. But for me, stuff like playing Mainu 9, that's criminal, bro.
Yeah.
Like, let's have it right. That's criminal. I don't know if you were trying to send a message to the board to sign a striker or something, but if I'm the strikers, I'm looking at that as like I've been violated. And if I'm Kobe Mainu, especially that he ended up getting hooked, I'm looking at it like, what the fuck did you put me there, bro? Like, what the hell is this? With one decision, you could have lost 3 people. With one decision, he could have lost 3 people there. So for me, I didn't like that. I think the things that I've seen from Amorim, there's good things. I think in the big games we've been good, and I actually think we're probably going to be a cup team. I think we are going to be a difficult matchup for anyone in the Europa League, because we actually play a little bit more continental than we do for the Prem is going to be getting dark. We're losing many more games in the Prem, but in the FA Cup tomorrow against Leicester, we should be winning that game. And you're looking at the Europa League, I think we can get through, but in the league, as I'm saying, it's looking a problem for us. And my thing is, so he's good in the big games. I think he's kind of like a cut manager. The small teams, playing the wing backs, playing fullbacks at wing backs is disgraceful. The stats prove we're terrible with the defenders as wing backs. The eye test proves it. I don't understand what he's doing there. So for me, the players, everyone knows my opinion on them. Get rid of these guys. But for me, even if he wants to stick to his formation, he needs to do things to at least make it work better. I'm not too sure with what he's doing at the moment with this team at the moment. But then you look at also his emotional side. 3 times now, for me, he's shown a bit of a lack of emotional control, bro. The Xerxes hook, when he hooked Xerxes and said, "Oh, sorry, my bad," or whatever he said, I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. We did improve a little bit with Xerxes came off. The Rashford comment, the last Rashford comment, when he said the goalkeeper. What did he say? Sorry, yeah, the goalkeeper coach. After already answering 3 weeks in a row about Rashford, you could have just said, bro, like, no more questions. Like, Rashford's not in team. I want to talk about players there. We're the worst United team in history. Then coming out again and apologizing about that. And then for me, this Kobe Mainu thing, as I said in the 9, for me, that was him just being like, I'm fed up with you guys. I'm going to try and Kobe 9. He needs to get a bit of emotional control. This is Man United. All the lights are on you. All the eyes are on you. The press are going to be annoying. This is what it is at Man United. It's not sporting. So I need him to be a little bit more calm. Bruno had to come out and be like, listen, we're Portuguese. We're a bit emotional, a bit feisty. He's probably thinking, yeah, because that's what I am on the pitch. I'm thinking, hey, Bruno, I don't want a manager that's like you, bruh. Do you know what I mean? You're already annoying, bro. I do not want a manager that's like you, bruh. So I think those are the little things that he needs to work on. But I'm all in on Amorim. I want him to succeed. I think you cannot turn a bad manager overnight like this. You know what I'm saying? But little bit of tweaks. But yeah, man, I'm sure we're going to speak about Man United a lot more anyway. This was about the Carabao Cup. But listen, as you mentioned at the top of the show, before we wrap up, 5 more minutes. We are all heading to Qatar. Now, this is my first time. Heading through. You actually did sensational work last year on the pitch. I was so proud. And this feels like a full circle moment because I was live streaming you, man, out there last year. Look at that. There we go. You're about to get another one.
I was pitch side watching this brother carve Kaka into 4 different slices of kebab.
Bro,
now he's
about to play against
these are our legends that we grew up watching, and you want to embarrass them on big stage like this.
He's about to be on the pitch. He's about to be on the pitch on the same team, I believe it is. If I looked correctly, he's about to be on the same team as Andre Iniesta.
Yeah.
He's about to be playing football with David Silva.
We are winning.
Do you know how crazy, bro? Harry is going to pass a ball to Iniesta.
No, I just clocked it. Oh my!
Are you mad? To Iniesta. Yo, Iniesta. Like, no, but the thing is, do you know what's crazy? That Kaka is crazy because of like we lived through Kaka. Drogba is crazy because we love these guys. But Iniesta could rightfully say he might be the GOAT of his position.
Yeah,
bro, that's different, bro. No, that's different now. Like, this is
2 players that I genuinely didn't want to ever meet just because of what they mean to me in terms of pure football and just dominating their position. Andres Iniesta and Zinedine Zidane. Like, those 2 players are just generally like, let's have it right. When them 2 players were playing, nobody was near them. And I think with obviously this is a dream of mine. Obviously, we're doing this for a bigger purpose. And I just came back from Tanzania to see exactly what we do. But on a personal level, the kid in me to play, it was already mad passing the ball to Eden Hazard, last time round. This is different.
Eden Hazard looked up to Iniesta, bro. You know,
on the other side, Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah, come on.
And then Thierry Henry.
Wait, is Henry on your team or the other team?
Piero as well.
No, and Del Piero. So they've got Del Piero, Henry. And,
you're going to be defending
Pirlo.
Your centre back against Henry.
Yeah, but I'm going to be with Tim Cahill.
Where are you playing in midfield?
No. I told Tim, listen,
centre half.
I need help.
I need there. Right.
You don't want Angry Ginge. You don't want Angry Ginge.
No, Angry Ginge is on the other team because they knew me and Angry Ginge together was locks.
It was a lock off, bro. It was unfair.
That was Timu Vidic and Ferdy.
Hey, it's gonna be incredible.
This is gonna be honestly, it's gonna be a movie. I'm gonna try and vlog as much of it. We are going to try and get as much if we can stuff for Inside Scoop as well, so you guys can see things. I'm even going to try and see if I can IRL Twitch stream some things that is possible. We don't know. We're going to try everything to get you guys involved in the experience as well, man. It's going to be legendary. It's going to be
there's going to be some exclusive SDS stuff as well. So you'll see Fuad up in there as well. 2 times.
Yeah. But guys, make sure you lot also go and follow Fuad. I'm sure everyone already knows who Fuad is, but if you're new to the channel, a lot of people came to us from the Rudiger interview. So you guys might not, who knows? You might not know Fuad. If you don't, go and get to know, man. Follow his channel as well. Follow our individual channels, Culture Cams, and of course Harry Pinero. He doesn't need it, but follow Harry Pinero as well. But guys, it's been real. Newcastle versus Liverpool is the final of the Carabao Cup. We'll see that one there. It was good talking to you guys. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on, and we're out. Peace.